Welcome in. Welcome in. Happy Thursday, everybody. Hopefully, you guys are having a good day. We have a smaller baseball slate on tap for today, couple day games and some games at night. We also have game one of the NBA Finals starting tonight, Mavericks Celtics. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And then I have two baseball picks for tonight. Recap of yesterday was 0-1 on the video. We had the Guardians on the money line. That game got postponed due to rain. And then we had the Orioles money line, and they were winning 2-0. Had one bad inning. It was tied 2-2. And then Craig Kimbrell did Craig Kimbrell things, and he lost the game for the Orioles in the bottom of the ninth inning. So that was a little bit unfortunate. Part of my handicap for that game was how much better the Orioles bullpen is than the Blue Jays. So I said I felt pretty confident if it was a close or tied game going to the later innings. But I mean, there's just no sweat in sports right now. There's no sweat in baseball, I should say, quite like Craig Kimbrell. If you have money wagered on his team and he comes in to close the game out, it just never feels safe. And he's a very good closer, but it's never clean. There's always stuff going on. So that was unfortunate. I didn't feel good with him coming in the game when it was tied. So yeah, unfortunate, but we move 0-1 day. Hopefully we can bounce back tonight with the two picks. We'll start off with the basketball talk since I'm not really going to give a pick out for the game. Just going to talk higher level stuff here. The X factor for me in this series is very much the health of Kristaps Porzingis. He has been off for quite some time. He barely played in the playoffs. He hasn't played since. There's been a big gap here between the end of the Eastern Conference Finals and the start of this series. And, he's apparently been playing in these scrimmages and he feels good to go. So that plays in a lot to this. I think that if we assume Porzingis is fully healthy, I think I don't know if any team can beat the Celtics in a 7-game series with a fully healthy Porzingis. I think he is very much the X factor for them. We kind of saw how Dallas is kind of catered and kind of constructed as a team to really feast on these teams that have a stay-at-home kind of paint scarecrow center like a Rudy Gobert. Obviously, they do have Karl Anthony Towns to stretch out the defense, but it doesn't matter because they play those guys together. And Gobert is very much a down low paint centric player. And I think that it's really, really tough for, a team with that setup to defend this Dallas Mavericks team. So I think that, it's a big, big difference going against Minnesota versus going against the Celtics with Porzingis. And another underlying factor is just from higher level, uh, with Porzingis playing, we're not going to have Luke Cornett playing any minutes for the Celtics, really. Al Horford's going to soak up those backup 5 minutes, whereas against the Pacers or the Cavs, when you didn't have Porzingis out there, like you had Cornett playing backup 5, that's going to shift over to Horford. That's a big advantage for the Celtics as well, just not having to play Luke Cornett. So I don't know if any team. I think if it was Denver versus Boston, I think that would be closer to a toss up. I do think Boston has a distinct advantage with a fully healthy Porzingis, but I'm rooting for the Mavericks. I think it's going to still be a fun series. Hopefully, no matter what, it goes 6-7 games and we just get a good NBA Finals. But my heart wants the Dallas Mavericks. My brain says the Boston Celtics. If you guys watched the live streams back when we were doing those, it was right at the start of the playoffs. We did take on the stream a Celtics Oilers future ticket to win the title. I can't remember if I had posted that in the Discord or not, but I know for a fact we talked about it on the stream. We could even go find the clip of us talking about it. It was right towards the beginning of the playoffs, but both those teams are alive. So we do have a sweat with the Celtics. And if Dallas goes down tonight and loses, I might look to hop in on them for the series, or I don't know. It will depend what the number is because it might come a scenario where you're going to make more money just betting on their money line. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But my heart is rooting for the Mavericks. Brain says the Celtics. But I'm excited to see kind of how it plays out. I'm excited to see how healthy Porzingis is, and hopefully it's a good series. Switching over to baseball for tonight, like I said, there's a couple day games and then a decent little night slate here, but smaller than what we're going to see tomorrow on Friday. I'm targeting one game tonight, and it is the Dodgers and the Pirates. So first and foremost, that game last night was absolutely electric. Paul Skeens going against this Dodgers lineup. Uh, he completely snatched Shohei Ohtani's soul from him in the first inning, back-to-back 101, and then struck him out. And then Ohtani came right back and hit a home run off him. That was just so fun to watch. If you guys didn't watch that game last night, I feel bad for you. That was absolutely electric. I'm so excited for the future of baseball with kind of the stars that we have emerging. I do think it's in a really good space. But this is the one game I'm targeting today. So both my picks are going to be from this game. First and foremost, we're going to go with the over. It's 9.5 on DraftKings. You can still get that flat 9 on FanDuel at -118. I would be taking that just because you get that push potential if it does only score 9 runs. But I think this game's going to go crazy. I think there's going to be offense across the board. And this feels like a really, really good bounce back spot for the Dodgers. So we're going to go with the Dodgers Pirates over 9 at -118. We have Bailey Falter going up against Walker Buehler. Walker Buehler has been okay since coming back from his injury. Like, we haven't seen him since 2022, right? He missed all of last year. So it's going to take him some time to get acclimated, but he's just been average. I do think the Pirates can get a couple runs off of him. That's really not, what is playing into this handicap for me, though. Bailey Falter has been one of the biggest Houdini acts in baseball through the first couple months of the season. And I do think he's going to get absolutely wrecked at some point here. This would seem like a good spot for that to happen against this Dodgers lineup. I know they haven't been hitting up to the potential of their team, but there's no better spot for them to get back on the saddle here tonight than against Bailey Falter. So for the season, Falter 3.22 ERA on the surface looks really good, but his expected is 4.73, which is a run and a half higher than that. His strikeout rate only 15%, right? He doesn't get a ton of swing and miss. He's allowing 43% hard hits. If you look at his WOBA allowed, 263 looks really good, but expected WOBA allowed 343, which is the highest number of his career, that expected WOBA. So I just don't expect this kind of Jeremy Lin-esque run for Bailey Falter to continue. He throws a lot of fastballs, 51% of the time. So, guys are probably going to be able to sit on some pitches here and know what's coming. His fastball is pretty good. He allows a 158 batting average with it. But overall, I just don't trust the start from Bailey Falter, and I do think it's a good spot for the Dodgers. They're a very good team against left-handed pitching as well. For the start of for this season, let's look at last season and this season. A 362 WOBA as a team against left-handed pitching, 210 ISO as a team, only an 18% strikeout rate as a team. Mookie Betts, Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, Teoscar Hernandez, even Miguel Rojas. All those guys have really, really good numbers against left-handed pitching. So I think it's a really good spot for them. And I think that they could put a crooked number up here for sure. On top of the matchup against Falter being really good, the Pirates have exhausted the back end of their bullpen. The Pirates' back end bullpen isn't great as it is. They rely on Bednar, who's been streaky. Aroldis Chapman is good, but both those guys have pitched each of the last 2 days because they won a close game on Tuesday, and then they won last night as well. So they were using those back end guys to get those wins. So the back end of the bullpen is super exhausted here. They've both their big guns at the end have pitched 2 days in a row. So I think that they could even get loose against the bullpen here. So even if they only have, like, if the Dodgers have 3 runs, let's say, off Falter and it goes to the pen, I think they could still get 3-4 more off of the bullpen, just given that this bullpen's been taxed over the last few days. So really, really good spot here for the Dodgers. If you want to take a -1.5, I don't even hate that because I think this is a really strong get right spot for the Dodgers tonight. The second pick, like I said, is also going to come from this game. We're going to go with Will Smith over 1.5 total bases. I drafted Will Smith in all of my seasonal leagues. I was really high on a big year from him, and he's even exceeded my expectations. He's arguably been the best hitter outside of Mookie Betts in this lineup for the entire course of the season. He's been super consistent. He's got over a 9% barrel per plate appearance rate this year. He smashes left-handed pitching. Since the start of last season, 400 WOBA against left-handed pitching is the second best mark in this lineup behind Mookie Betts. If we look at his numbers against fastballs, 366 WOBA is very good as well. This season, it's even better, I believe. 496 WOBA against fastballs for this year. So, yeah, big year for Will Smith. He crushes left-handed pitching. He's in a spot where often he gets, given that he bats cleanup, he does often get in spots where he gets pitches to hit because, those guys ahead of him are typically on base. So, yeah, I like Will Smith over 1.5 total bases. I also like Will Smith to record an RBI, and that's even odds at -110. So if you don't like betting on the total bases, I know some people are very anti total base props, and you want to get in on Will Smith in another way, just take him to record an RBI. It's -110, and that kind of protects you of not having to get a double, I guess. But I think it's a good spot for him. I think he could easily get multiple hits tonight, especially with how used the bullpen's been recently. So Dodgers Pirates over 9 runs, -118. Will Smith over 1.5 total bases. Those are the two plays for me tonight. Buying a big spot for the Dodgers tonight. Hopefully they don't let us down. If you made it to the end of the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you know when I post these videos every single day. Thank you guys for tuning in. Good luck with your bets tonight, and I'll see everybody on Friday.